Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Appreciate you guys joining us as always. And we've got the crew, the best in the business, the folks that I look forward to doing this with weekly. You know, they're the best supporters of the Burgundy and Gold, and we have some really good conversations. If you're just joining the show for the first time, what we do is we talk about the Washington Commanders. On occasion, we stray and talk about the NFL, but this is a Commander-centric show with, season ticket holders, people who travel to follow this team, and people who sit at home and throw things at a television from time to time. So, we have fun with it though. So if you want to join us on this show, it's very simple, and we're going to continue this throughout the off season as well. So it's very simple. All you have to do is email me at the Lake Lewis Jr. Show at gmail.com. Once again, it's the Lake Lewis Jr. Show at gmail.com. So without further ado, how's everybody doing on this lovely Friday?
Good, Lake.
Awesome,
Everything's good,
Fantastic.
bro.
All right. So how happy are you guys that you get a chance to see football on Saturday and then you still kind of have the rest of your weekend? Is that something that you would sign up for if you could do that consistently?
Sure.
That's pretty
No,
cool.
Nah,
no.
no, I like my Sunday tradition.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Sundays too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's so we got some traditionalists here in the building now. So I mean, but what about like Sundays? Now you'll be able to go to church. You'll be able to go grocery shopping. You'll be able to spend time with your better half. No.
I still watch
That,
football Sundays, even if it ain't us.
Yeah,
Oh, listen to the
me too.
young guy. I see you. I see you.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
When she know they not playing, I got to do what she want to do first. But if
yep.
if she don't have nothing, then I'm watching football.
So you guys know my situation is very different because I can't get out of it no matter what. Because she's going with me to the game and we come home from the game. So it doesn't matter. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Sunday, but hopefully we can talk about a win. It's going to be
That'll be good.
a daunting task to say the least because
Yeah.
this Philadelphia Eagles team needs this football game in the worst way. If they win, they clinch the division. So, they're going to come out guns blazing. Today, though, Lane Johnson for the fifth straight games ruled out. Carter is ruled out. That's his third straight
Wow.
game. And that's a big plus for Washington, considering
It
that
is.
on our end, Laramie Tunsil ruled
Right.
out, for Sunday. And I kind of had a feeling that after Wednesday's practice where he left practice that, that's one of the toughest guys on the roster. So for him not to make it through, you kind of knew that that was probably a sign that Brandon Coleman's going to get the start at tackle. So, it's an opportunity. I think we all can agree it's an opportunity for the young guys to really get some, important playing time, and they're going to get it in a playoff atmosphere. Even though Washington's not going to the playoffs, this is the closest thing to a playoff game that they will have played all season long. So now the Ben Sennett's of the world and some of these younger guys, Jordan McGee's of the world, we're going to really get a chance to see what they can do against an upper echelon football team. So let's ask the question here, and we'll go around the horn. What are you looking forward to seeing in this game? Is it a win? Is it just, competitive play? Or is it just seeing something that sustains itself from last week's win against the Giants? So we'll start with Dave Fernandez. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, Lake? What was the question again?
What do you want to see in this game? Do you want to see something that's sustainable from last week's win, or do you want to see it just a competitive game, or do you want to see them come out with a win against the Eagles?
I just want to see consistency, man. I want to see consistency and see um the like you said, get the young guys and see what is it that we have in the closet. You know what I'm saying? We've been having too much stuff stacked up in the closet. You know how when you go and you stack up in the closet and all of a sudden you start looking and you're like, oh my God, look, I got this, I had this, Is that that's what I want to see. I want to see what we got in the closet that might be a gem, and we haven't noticed it yet. And like I said, consistency, man.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go to our drivers because I see Mike and Will, in their cars right now. So let's go with Willis. What you think, Willis?
All right. This is what I'm talking about. I think that I, I honestly was having this epiphany, what was about 2 days ago, sitting there thinking about putting on a helmet as an NFL player, getting ready to go out on the field. What player in their right mind would go in there with an attitude of like, yeah, I'm okay with us losing this game? Like, none. I can't imagine a single player going out there going, I'm okay with coming out here losing. It doesn't hurt my pride. BS. It definitely would hurt their pride, and especially for our divisional games where we play these people twice or play these teams twice a year. There's no way you're going to see anybody that doesn't have full on fight in this game. And I have the same mentality. I want ultimately to see a win. I know everyone says it's irrelevant to us. I just 100% disagree with that. Seeing an Eagles fan's tears, that's not irrelevant. That's like that's a goal. That's a goal. So yeah. I mean, I want to see a win. Like straight up.
And that's
if
a
it's with
goal.
if it's with our youth, that's just a bonus. Like that is. I want to see both. Honestly, I mean that would be the ideal world. Get our youth out there and crush the Eagles. That would just hurt their soul even more.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I've been hearing about this meaningless. I've been hearing about these meaningless games literally for the last 2 weeks, and I've been crushing people, just telling them, listen, it's your profession. If you are a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, a custodian worker, whatever, you don't have the luxury of saying your days are meaningless. These guys are making 10, 20, 30 times what the average person's making. And they're probably more so in the business of each game they can improve, more so than, say, like the normal person that has a normal 9 to 5, because every game is different. So for me, anytime you get a chance to play against a really good quality team like the Eagles, and you have a chance to see where you stack up against, some of the best players in the league, there is no such thing as a meaningless game. And you guys know this, tape doesn't lie. So if you think you're going to go out there and half, that's going to show up on tape, either in Washington or wherever else you think you may go. And it may end up, having you back in that, in that grocery store when Mike Barrett is, you know what I mean? So we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So speaking of Mike Barrett, what's going on, Mike? What you think, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry, it's as you can see, they turned the lights off out here, so it's 5:17,
man. Don't get arrested.
I know.
Working on somebody,
They're like, what are you doing in the car? I'm just on Zoom, man. I got live witnesses, man. I got live witnesses, man.
That's the attorney talk right there. You're already thinking of a way out of the problem,
Hey, I'm gonna piggyback on what Willis. I mean, to be honest, I really didn't care whether we won or we lost that game, this game. But after that Giants win, man, I mean, I'm on the chat with the fellas. I'm like, man, it's just hard to root against my team. As bad as that game meant a lot for us draft stock wise, but it's just not in me, dog, to just root against my squad, man. And the Eagles fans are yapping because the Cowboy fans. I don't know what happened to them, man.
Reality set in. That's what happened. Right?
Look, they disappeared in the dark worse than I am on the screen, man. Where are the Cowboy fans this week, man?
Man, I had a Cowboys fan tell me 2 days ago, "Oh, we still in it. We're not mathematically out." And I said, "Brother, if you think," I said, "I got a better opportunity to grow an afro than you guys making the playoffs. Not happening. It's not happening. Not happening."
I love that, man. So yeah, I just want to see. My man G's not here to say this. So if G was here, he would say he wants to see the young guys play.
Yep.
It is kind of ironic that they get a dub and we don't see, our guy Gerard, this week,
Yeah.
so yeah, they lose this week, get blown out or something. He'll be the first one up on here. So we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, I wanted to say, like, I think everybody, I know I did, just as a media person, it was just nice to be able to see a win, to have something different to talk about, and especially carry into the week and things like that. I can only imagine how you guys felt, because it's been a long time coming. Marcus said it last week after the Giants game. It's hard to go 2 months in the NFL without a W. But they also backed it up by saying it's hard to get a win in the NFL. So you take them how you get them, no matter when it comes or no matter what the scenario is. It was important for these young guys to see what it took, to overcome adversity. And I think this game now coming up against the Eagles is even more of a barometer, because you're going to find out, was it like the Broncos game? Remember the Broncos game? They battled tough, took them into overtime. And then the next game against Minnesota was just an absolute, where were you? So we're going to find out, this game, is it something similar to that scenario, or are they going to do something they haven't done all year? And that's win 2 games in a row. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Let's go with Rev. What's going on, Rev?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Everybody's
All
good.
right, Rev.
Good to see you.
God bless you, brother.
Good to see you guys. I'm like Dave. I want to see the consistency, and late your aunt said something on her show, and just food for thought. She says we've had, when it allowed, we've had our young guys out there. We've had them, the ones now. Granted, they're still, the other linebacker. We haven't seen Kane Madrano.
Madrano,
Yeah,
or Ali Cahill.
we haven't seen him. There's certain ones we haven't seen. Then on the other side of that, there are certain ones that we did get to check out. So it's not absolutely that we haven't seen any of them, but yeah, there is some new blood that I would like to see just exactly going into the draft what we need. And I like the way Dan put it, and I'll go ahead and close my mouth, but he gave them something to play for, because even with their record within the division or within the conference, they can still say, even though if somebody say, yeah, y'all record was such and such, but they can still say to Dallas and Philly and New York, but you didn't beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want too. You want to be able to say that. And again, you want to get, okay, they beat a bad team last week. Okay. A team that only has 2 wins, probably had the first pick in the draft. But this week, it's a team that legitimately is Super Bowl champion, defending champion. It still feels like they have a chance to defend their crown. So you're going polar opposites, ends of the spectrum. And I just want to see how they fare. And they're going to get this team twice over the next 3 weeks. So even if they were to come out of it with a stinker, they still have a chance to fix that. But if they come out of it with a victory, you have a chance to prove that it wasn't a fluke. So it's just a good opportunity for them against an NFC East rival, where you can serve notice that this is what it could have been like this year if we hadn't had these injuries and some other things. And this is what it's going to be like next year when we come back healthy. So let's keep it moving. Let's go with Brandon. What's going on, Brandon?
What's up, guys? What's up, fam? I'm like, consistency, yes. I want to see them run the ball, and I want to see them run the ball a lot. And I want to see Bill just keep running. And just Cliff just needs to be consistent on calling, obviously Bill scored, last week. And it works. It's like, run the ball, man.
Do it again.
And so if they can, just keep doing that, and then that gives opportunities for Terry to get open and gets the opportunities for the other guys to go. So it's like, that's really what I want to see, man. And I want them to be the dream wrecker for the Eagles. I want to see the Eagles cry. I mean, look, if we could push them further down their playoff give them 2 losses, the season would be complete for me, even though it was hard to watch. I'd be like, good, we beat the Eagles twice. That's all that matters.
That's a good point because last week I asked you guys scenarios, 3 different scenarios. You beat the Eagles and you send the Cowboys home, or you beat the Cowboys and you send the Eagles home, or you just get a win. And I think now the best of both worlds is actually coming up because Dallas isn't making it. We know that. That's just they'd have to win their last 3 and the Eagles would have to lose their last 3, and we don't think that's happening. So the scenario is now though that you beat Dallas, you guarantee they don't go. And if you beat Philadelphia, like Brandon said, you're kind of messing with seedings. Although I think the Eagles I think they're entrenched at number 3 right now as a 3 seed in the NFC playoffs, and I don't foresee that changing because the NFC South has now become not so good. So, yep. So let's keep it rolling. Let's go with Brad Jones. What's going on, Brad?
What's up, family? How everybody doing, man? Good to see y'all.
Right, man.
What's up, Brad?
I want to see no injuries for one. We don't need no more of those.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. At this point, the dude's getting hurt sneezing, right? So we don't need that. And then, to your point, like that could very well happen. Like you said, coming off of the good game against Denver and then getting pounded by Minnesota, Philadelphia got something to play for, so they could very well come out and pound it. I just want to see them be competitive.
Yeah.
Don't lay down. Don't get ran over, and just be competitive and no injuries.
Be about your craft. You know what I mean? Like have some personal pride with it, because I've been telling people all week, if you show me somebody that accepts losing, guess what I'm going to show you? A loser. So you don't want that in the locker room at all. You want them to come out and play for something. They're playing for their own personal wealth, and it's all important. So good stuff there. All right, so let's go with Kevin. What's going on, Kevin?
What's up, Lake? How's everybody doing?
Hey, Kevin.
Brother.
What's up?
Listen, I kind of agree with pretty much what everybody is saying. What I would like to do, I want to throw some names out there. First one, I want to see what Drake Jackson look like, bro. I think that I really, to honestly tell you the truth, I think Quinn was waiting until the Dallas and the Eagles game to release this guy. Me personally, I want to see what he looked like, because if we're looking to build younger players and he's one of those young guys, I want to see him come out all guns a blazing. That's one person I want to see. The next person I want to see, and the name is not being thrown around what I would say enough. He only made one catch that was outstanding, but I want to see what Trey Burks looked like against the Eagles as well. I'm thinking in terms of these young players, putting these young players out there, exposing them to what this type of atmosphere is going to be like against a divisional game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So these are the things.
Atmosphere.
Right. And I also want to see what our left guard is going to look like against the Eagles in their defense as well. So when we think in terms of, us, putting our young guys out there, being able to see what they can do against a defense like that, because let's be honest, man, the Eagles defense is tough, man. Yeah. So if our offensive line can hold up against the defense, and we're able to run the ball, because I agree with Brandon, run the ball, slow the game down, have the Eagles playing at our own pace, I think we have an opportunity to win this game. And I hope, like, they defend their home turf as well. And, the last 3 home games, they got blew out. So hopefully they have pride and they go in there and be ready for the Eagles when they come to our house.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Everybody.
I got one comment about that, though.
Yeah,
Kevin. Kevin, I would temper your expectations for Drake, at least, especially that first game, because dude hasn't taken a snap in a year and a half. So if you can get 2 or 3 plays where you're like, oh shit, I see what he's doing, like, oops, sorry, language. If you can see what the potential is, then I think there's something exciting there.
Yeah, I mean, and
thank you, Reverend.
That's been a thing, man. Like, I see him in the locker room all the time, and I'm just like, this Joker getting a paycheck, man. Like you got to see him like producing. No, I'm serious. I'm just being real. I'm like, bro, this Joker getting a paycheck, and for a while, because normally when you pick up somebody, and put them on your roster, they supposed to hit the field like in 2-3 weeks tops. We talking about what, 8 weeks?
Yeah.
9 weeks. Yeah, it's been that long. So
how come then they don't get those type, even behind the scene, those type of questions, because that does, make the rest of us scratch our heads knowing that it's like you sign this guy and you put him immediately on the IR or whatever.
Right. Inactive.
Yeah.
But
see, normally normally I was gonna say normally the it's kind of an unwritten rule. You don't talk about inactive guys. That's just it's just because what are you gonna say? But Rev, that is a fair question, and it's one that I'm actually ashamed that I never thought to say, hey coach, dude over here in the locker room occupying the locker, like what's the word? Like, is he gonna get on the field? Well, we're going to find out, but I agree with Willis. For everybody thinking that you're going to see him, pull off from the defensive side of the ball, what Traylon Burks did, on the offense the last couple weeks, 2 weeks ago. Nah, I don't know about that. So we'll see. We'll see. But go ahead, Brad, what were you going to say?
But they signed him knowing he was injured, though, right?
They did.
So if anybody thought they were going to sign him and he was going to go right to immediate action, we fooling ourselves.
Yeah. So he was coming off a bad knee injury.
Yeah, and that knee tear was bad.
It was. He tore everything in it. So
right. So it's a wonder he even playing this year.
Yeah,
right?
And I think Adam probably looked at it like, I can steal this guy, from somebody else, rehab him, see where he is in the rehab, and I'm not sure who said it, but someone did say in there, get him ready for those NFC East games down the stretch. So that's a good analogy, good call there. So we'll see what he has. So we still got Brad and Sean though. So let's go with Brad Savage. What's going on, Brad?
What's going on, fellas?
Brad.
Back on here again. What I want to see is more. One, I would like to see a win, but also this is the first time we've seen them since we lost to them in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And I know we not the same team because we all hurt, but I know them in the locker room should remember that loss. So I want to see a lot of fight. I want to see straight up fight because of that. Because I know Terry ain't forgot, and I know they want smoke, even though they not fully whole,
Right.
So I want to see fight. That's what I want to see mainly. And I wanted this game. I don't want it the second one, because if we lose this game, they not gonna play their starters because they've already clinched on that last week. If we win this game and we beat Dallas, they still not gonna play their starters because then they would have clinched again, So this is the game I want to see it, because this is the one that matters.
Good call.
Good call. Yeah, I mean that's a great call. What if it comes down to the final week? And Shano, I know you're coming up, but what if they came down to the final week and Dallas has won 2 in a row and Philly has lost 2 in a row? I mean, woo-wee. that would be one right there. Now you talking about making your season, making up for everything that we saw this year. That would be beautiful. Going into that scenario would make because that would be like the equivalent of last year's NFC Championship game for this year for Washington. That would be something.
That'd be a major plot twist.
It sure would, and you could really ruin some Christmases, as Von Miller said. He said, "Look, I'm taking some people down with me. If I can't go, you can't go either."
That's what
that would be good.
Going down to Cancun.
Right? I'm going fishing with you. So let's go with Shano. What's going on, Shano?
Nice to see everybody. First off, shout out to Crossover Meats. Okay. I want to be honest, and I want to say that I was a little upset to see that number one draft pick for next year slip out of our hands, but that's over and done with. So now I'm gonna get with the rest of y'all and say that I would like to see a good showing, especially on standalone games. We got a lot of those this year. And so there's not that many Commander fans within my area. So whenever they're on standalone games and we look bad, I gotta hear it from everybody at work, family members, so on and so forth. So I want to see a good showing. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for the next hypothetical.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. See, this is good. We got through the first half of the show in 30. Everybody got a chance to chime in with some good answers. And again, like when you see what happened last week in New York, so there were a lot of people that were saying, they beat the Giants. It's not a big deal. I mean, the Giants have been competitive all year long in pretty much all their games. Probably should have beat Denver, should have had some other wins too. So I thought it was a good win under the circumstances for Washington. First and foremost, anytime you can end an 8-game losing streak, that's a good win, right? I mean, it shows that you're still fighting. It shows that you haven't laid down and you haven't quit, because there's 4 games left at that point last week, and you're thinking, if there ever was a time to put a bag over their head, no pun, Rev, because I know that was your thing. But if there ever was a time to put a bag over your head and fold up, it was last week. And it was brutally cold in New York. Let me tell you guys. If you saw the post game, I was struggling to get the words out because the wind was on my face, the cold air was. JP was like, man, this is the coldest thing I can remember. And I'm like, this was just as cold as Minnesota, but we were outside. So anyway, just to see all those scenarios and them still come away with a victory, although they made it entertaining at the end. And I know some of y'all were like, they're really trying to get this game away.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. So they got the win. But I think going forward now, okay, let's talk about this. These final 3 games, 2 against the Eagles, 1 against the Cowboys. We know what's at stake for those teams, okay? I think for Washington, and I agree with what David said earlier, is find out what you have in the closet, man, because everyone thinks that this team's going to have to flip itself. Like, a lot of people thinking they're going to have to, turn over half the roster. Not necessarily, because Treylon Burks, I think, has done enough for me, even in practices. He's done enough to be brought back next year, of course, so that's one receiver now that you don't have to worry about maybe having to draft or go out in free agency, although I think Brandon Ayuk ends up here. So that's a whole nother story. But you're right. You got these young linebackers, and everyone keeps saying, we've been talking about it right here on this show for a while. They're going to have to draft a linebacker, and Bobby's going to have to groom someone at middle linebacker. Not necessarily. Because if Kane Madrano can get on the field and show something, if Ali Cajo can get on the field and show something, and I don't mean in special teams, which they're doing already, I mean in meaningful defensive reps. If they can show you enough, then that's 2 more players. We're already talking about 3 players now. Lawrence Cager, tight end, who's had some production as a professional in the league, like with the Giants, I remember him at University of Miami. I mean, this guy's a big 6'6", 6'7", maybe 6'7" tight end with some size. And he's activated. He's been, brought up to the roster off the practice squad, so he's going to be in the game this weekend. Who's to say that he shows you enough? Because let's be upfront here. The chances of Zach Ertz coming back it's bleak. Okay. We all understand that. We don't have to say it, but that's the reality. So now you look at the tight ends on the roster. John Bates, we know where John Bates is. He's a mauler. He's a blocker. Ben Sinnott is the guy. Can he take that next step to be what they envisioned when they drafted him in the 2nd round? Yeah. But maybe a guy like Lawrence Cager could be another guy now that kind of gives you some hope in your tight end room. Are there any guys? Well, Colson is there, but Colson's not going to play this weekend, so he's hurt. So he's out. So, just another opportunity. But see, to me, Colson is another guy, former quarterback in college. People don't remember that, but Colson is a guy that is kind of like a blocker to me as well. A guy that he's kind of like, okay, if you say Ben Sinnott was supposed to be Zach Ertz Jr., Colson to me is John Bates Jr. That's just what I see. The wild card is Cager, because Cager's a guy that can move. He's athletic. Obviously hadn't done enough for them to move him up at that position, but now he'll have the opportunity. So what I want to do now is get from you guys any young guy that you need to see something from down the stretch. Like, even if it's in a bad way, a negative way, you need to see something from this guy or guys because you haven't seen it and you're worried at this point right now. So I'm gonna throw the first one out there this time. I need to see something from Johnny. I need to see Johnny Newton make some plays because I've always said I don't know if he's being utilized properly. I don't know, but it's got to be something, because this guy was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. We're not talking, little sisters of the poor, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and a guy that everyone had as a first round grade, and Washington got him in as a steal at the time early in the second round. They traded up to get him. There's something wrong with this scenario when we don't hear his name called. Not one time, and I mean for weeks. So that's the guy I'm going to throw out there. So we'll go counterclockwise this time and start in the order that we finished. So let's go with Shauno here. Anyone in particular that you need to see something from?
Yeah, you stole mine, but my second alternative would be Mikey Standerstill. I like to see whether he's going to play in the slot or the outside. I know they bounce him back and forth based on availability of his teammates, but we drafted him to be a nickel, but he does better on the outside. So I like to see, establish what it is, and then go from there. That way we know how to draft or, move forward.
That's a great one right there. And I've been saying Mikey on the outside is where he should stay, because he's a playmaker. And when you play in the slot, you don't have the ability to make plays because you just have to cover shifty, fast guys and all that. But when you're on the outside, you can see things developing a little differently. And he's the one guy in the secondary, if anyone, that can break on the football. That was his former wide receiver skills when he went to Michigan, and then they converted him. So I like that. That was a good one, Shauno. All right, so let's go with Brad Savage. What you think?
Yeah, so I mean, I was definitely gonna say Mikey to see what side, but since Shano said Mikey, I'm gonna go ahead and say I want to see another game from Bill. I just want to see consistency from him. I want to see him hold on to the ball, and I want to see him like right now. I just want to see like, okay, he can be an every down back. Like,
Right.
is he an every down back, or is he a change of pace, more explosive back? Because last week he gave me like you could be an every down back the way he was getting in between them tackles. So I just want to see more of him.
Good point. Good point. Bill runs hard. I don't think anybody ever questioned if he's afraid to hit the holes. I mean, he'll put his head in there, he'll put his nose in there, but he got to hold on to the football. Got to hold on to the football, because once you start putting it down on the carpet,
now they know.
Team starts saying, you know what, we're gonna start punching the ball and going after this. So
that's what happened when we had Gibby. Yep, they found out he could fumble, and they started punching that thing out all
they
season
did.
long.
It becomes a thing. So you don't want to be labeled that way. And I do think he's a really good young prospect. I really do. I think he's got a bright future in Washington. And even if they decide to just run it by committee, if it's Chris Rodriguez, who should be back this week, if it's Jeremy McNichols, I mean, I'm cool with
I'm good
committee
with that.
of running as long as they stay with the run, as Brandon said. Just stay with it. I don't care if you're running 10 guys out there. Just stay with it, Cliff. Don't get pass happy. And that's why number 5 is not playing, because you got pass happy and was getting this guy broken up. So let's get some balance there. So let's go with Kevin now. What's up, Kev?
What's up, Blake? I'm going to go with Brandon Coleman. Now, the only reason why I say Brandon Coleman is because Brandon Coleman was the starter last year and got knocked out this year by Chris Paul, right? So the way I look at it this year is I was listening to his interview with Donna earlier.
It was a good one. Very good one.
He was saying that he actually had to take a step back himself and learn from Larry Tunsil. So when we think about his opportunity now, the opportunity that he have now for the next 3 games, or at least the next 2 games, because of that bleak injury that Tunsil have. I want to see what he does. I really want to see what he does. The only reason why is because you mentioned Newton of the class from last year. You guys mentioned Mikey from the last class. Brandon Coleman was also a part of that class. So I want to make sure that he's able to develop as well, and especially going up again against this Eagle team that really gave him a hard time last year when he played. So I want to see what he's able to accomplish within the next couple of games. That's my guy, Brandon Coleman.
That's a good one. That's a great one. Before we move on to the next one, I want to pose something. What were to happen if Brandon over these next 3 games just looks really good at left tackle?
See, yep,
I'm just throwing it out there because
next year still.
Yeah, because I'm saying, because it'll give Washington options.
Because
I think we all agree that Laramie needs to be re-signed. He needs to get paid.
Yeah.
But Brandon, I'm along the lines of, no offense to Chris Paul, because he's played great, but they want Brandon to be at that left guard spot. They do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul saying, I know that's what they want, but that's not happening. That's good. That's called competition. But if Brandon goes out these next 3 games and looks the part of a left tackle, that's a premium position in the NFL. Yeah. Somebody might say, listen, what do you want for this guy? So he's playing for an opportunity.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that thing develops, and we'll see how that plays out. So all right. So Brad Jones, what's up?
Man, y'all took all of my answers. Mikey, Johnny, y'all took them all. But even with the Brandon Coleman, to your point, but I'm looking on the other way. What if he does play well and we don't have to re-up Laramie, and that can be money that can go somewhere else?
That is a possibility. I'm telling you. Yeah. I mean, younger and cheaper is always better.
Always, always. And in as many holes we have on this roster, that money can go to a free agent or somewhere else. So I'm kind of looking at it that way. And then I want to just jump on the Traylon Burks thing real quick. Like I'm all for just taper our expectations. And I think putting hope in Traylon Burks is the same way we kind of did with everything coming into the season, right? We're excited about him because he made a miraculous catch, but that was only his 2nd career touchdown.
Yeah.
I think if he played good, I still think we need to go get 2 more wide receivers, and he's just a bonus.
Yeah, I think Traylon Burks at best is a 4 on the roster. He's a 4.
Agreed.
Normally teams keep 6. They only kept 5 this year, and that tells you how bad they thought things were. But we know Luke will come back, and Luke will probably be your 3rd wide receiver next year. Maybe a 4, depending if you go out and get some other guys. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Traylon Burks is replacing Deebo Samuel if they don't re-sign Deebo. I don't think it's anything like that. So I agree with you, Brad. Just tailor expectations. However, if these young guys show enough, I mean, this guy was a 2nd-round draft pick, so he does have the talent. And I always say, and I also say too, look at who was throwing him the football in Tennessee. You probably can't remember him because I know he can't. So little different in Washington with number 5 being able to possibly get him the ball. So, all right, so let's keep it rolling. Let's go with Brandon. What's going on?
There we go. You guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys all took my answers. I mean, I want to see Deebo have a good game, because I know he's been up and down with stuff. It would be nice to see Deebo come out and have a great game. I know they'll probably re-sign him, and
do you think they'll resign him?
I don't know. I mean,
I hope so.
If this IU thing happens, I don't know. Who knows?
Is it the asking price? The asking price will play a part.
Yeah,
too, right?
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
Because if he wants, let's just say he wanted 27, 28 to 30.
Nah.
Yeah, he ain't gonna get that.
Nah. He's right at 20. I'm right at 20.
We already know AP doesn't like to pay wide receivers what they're worth. So it's
a shot thrown. There we go. A shot thrown. Listen, man. I hopefully Adams learned his lesson and all of this
He
stuff too. Like
he
you
better.
you can't have this stuff dragging out in the late August.
No.
This isn't San Francisco. It's a little different over there.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
someone brought the darts to the party.
I mean, look, his counterpart up in Philly is no joke, man. Howie Roseman don't mess around. You know, that fool just goes.
And hence why
he
they
just
just keep
goes
retooling, right?
exactly. So it's like, yeah, Debo. I would love to see Jeremy, McGee get out there, man. I mean, he's got to like just step it up, dude. And will Kane Madrano ever touch the field? Who knows?
See, I have this theory that if you are a player that hasn't hit the field at any point as far as a rep, something's not good there.
Right. That's what I wanted to tell everybody. Everybody's asking for these young guys. Maybe they just don't have it. Get on the field.
Sometimes it just comes up. Now, Kane's my dude. That's my guy. This guy I talk to in the locker room all the time. Great kid. And, not to put him out, but weeks ago, he and I talked about his opportunity from what I was being told, in the building. And he was like, he was told that he's going to get his opportunities. Hasn't gotten them yet. So either Kane isn't in the playbook, Kane isn't doing it on the field, or either, they're having a problem moving around some guys, to get some of the young guys on the field. And I think, I almost think that, unfortunately what happened to Zach was almost, and please don't take this the wrong way, because Zach's my dude. But from a Ben Sinnott standpoint, an injury is almost a blessing in disguise because you have no choice now to see what you have in Ben Sinnott.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's a blessing in disguise because Zach got hurt. You guys know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
But they would not have moved Zach out of there regardless. No. And now you're forced to see what you have in this second round draft pick out of Kansas State because you haven't seen it yet. And you guys know how sometimes players don't show you anything in practice ever. But for whatever reason, when the lights are on and they shine in the brightest, something goes off and then you see something. And the brief moments that I've seen of Ben, I actually like what I've been seeing. It's just, I need to see it more consistent. I'd like to see Cliff call maybe 2-3 straight plays for Ben in this game, just to see what can he do against Nakobe Dean and these linebackers, Bond and all these guys in Philadelphia, because it's going to be a physical football game, and you will find out a lot about Ben Sinnott, especially. So, all right, good stuff. All right, so Rev, what do you think?
Like everybody else, pretty much most of the answers have been taken, but actually mine is, I want to see the coaches do better. I mean, sort of like, but it's sort of like what Brad is saying as well. But you said as well yourself. If Zach hadn't have got hurt, then we still got this kid that maybe has potential, but sitting because he's sitting behind a vet, and they don't want to come up off that. And that makes me even think that possibly Kane may be sitting behind, one of the linebackers.
Frankie and Bobby. Exactly.
If he's sitting behind them, that's exactly why we haven't seen him, and probably won't. I'd like to see that change. The only way these guys are going to get the experience that they need under fire is to be out there in the battle. I think it was Deion Sanders said, "I never got no experience sitting on the bench."
Right. And, think about it. We're not saying, again, Bobby has to come out or Frankie, but you can put a package where Kane is the third backer out on the field. You can put a package where Frankie's out one play, Kane's in. We were saying it for Jordan McGee, and we see them, that's ramped up a little bit, but there's two other linebackers that have shown me on special teams, at least, that one, they can tackle. And, we've seen some missed tackles. I'm not singling out the linebackers. We've seen missed tackles all across the defense. Yeah. So if anything, if I can see a guy like Ali out there or Kane, and they're making sure tackles, That's fine. That's what I just need to see. What can they possibly give to the defense in 2026? And I don't want to wait till 2026 to find out. I need to see it right now at the end of 2025. So good stuff, Rev. All right, so let's go with Willis. What's up, Willis?
So who was it you were saying that is the backup tight end that's going to be coming in?
Well, he's going to be the third tight end tomorrow. It'll be Lawrence Cager.
Cager. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's my thing is you kind of hit upon it. Like Ben Sennett is my answer for this game. And some people have been saying, the team must not like him at all. Well, I haven't seen him as an inactive. He is active every single week. But his level of numbers of snaps are just pathetic. And I really thought he was going to have a lot more involvement this last week. The one little bit that he got was awesome. It was really nice to see that.
30-something yard catch. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's my thing is if you see Cager coming in and getting more snaps for more opportunities than Ben Sennett, then that says reams to me.
That's a problem.
And so here's my thing is I need to see Ben get at least 5 targets this game. He needs to get, that's bare minimum. He needs to get more than that though.
He needs to get the targets that they would have given Zach. Bottom line.
Well, and I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're going to have to find a replacement for Zach. And, are you going to have to draft a tight end? Are you going to have to sign one in free agency? Yeah. Again, I've always been along the lines of if you drafted someone, you saw something in them, why do you not see it anymore? It's just something that's coaching the player, a combination of everything. Well, these are the games now when these bullets are really going to be flying in a meaningful football game. None of that meaningless nonsense. A meaningful football game, especially for Philadelphia. I'd like to see what Ben can do, against that defense under these circumstances. So good stuff, Willis.
And I don't mean it with any hyperbole here, but I think this game and the next 2 games will shape the direction of his career.
100%. At least in Burgundy and Gold, it will, right?
Well, in general, it gives him a long-term opinion of from other GMs, like if this guy couldn't make it here, why am I going to be wanting him on my team? It's just a notch against him,
Well, that could be true, but then I look at a guy like, last night I'm watching the Rams game against Seattle, and I see Emmanuel Forbes, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's a corner, a first round draft pick that you got a steak sandwich for. You didn't get a steak sandwich, you got a hot dog.
We released him,
a hot dog, and that was it. You can't have.
I still don't think he that good.
No, but you know what though? He was good enough to get something from him. Something. They didn't even get an Atari system for him. Dag, man. Nothing.
But who would give more for him though? What he showed? What nobody will give much more to him.
Well, but see, it's the thing. What you see in that, but what you see in LA, exactly. What you see in LA is an adequate professional, not a star, not a Pro Bowler, but an adequate guy. That last night down the stretch, they had him on Jackson Smith and Jiba. And I'm like one-on-one, and I'm like,
because he locked him up the first game,
and he did. He was doing well. They were going against Durant on the other side, so. I see these things and I'm like, regardless of what happened here, and this was the old regime, I get it, but you just can't have first and second round draft picks not produce and not, just not pan out. That's not good, man. And for Washington, they had 3 second round draft picks. 3. Okay. And there's a question mark over every last one of them. That's not acceptable. So let's go with Dave here. We get Dave on. What's up, Dave? What you think?
Well, I agree. Like everybody said, most of the answers have been taken. I was gonna say also Ben Sennett, because I want to see if he could be that safety blanket that Zach was, you know what I'm saying? And I think he can. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of them utilizing him, enough to see what he got. But being that he was taken, I think my other guy that I'm keeping a close eye on is on Lane. I want to see how Lane goes with these cornerbacks. I want to see if he's that type that we drafted to take the top off. He's starting to wake up and do good in the special teams and punt returns, which is exciting. But I want to see what he does as a wide receiver. What other key component in that wide receiver room we have with him?
That's a good one,
That's a great one.
and Jalen is a great kid, young kid that's married, very mature, gets it. He just gets it. But I kind of envision Jalen as being what we're seeing on the special teams. He's supposed to be their special teams ace, I don't know, if you get more from him on the field in reps, offensive reps, that's icing on the cake. But I think what they envisioned when they drafted him was a guy that could flip the field for them and give them explosives on special teams. And that's what he's doing. So he's already hit his mark for me. I don't have any questions about Jalen. I'm gonna throw another young player out at you guys that kind of goes under the radar at times, that I think we're gonna have to start asking those questions for too. And it's Quan Martin. I think Quan Martin, year 3, he came in. He was their second round draft pick, ironically. Emmanuel Forrest was the first round draft pick. And this was Ron's last year. I get it. But I've just seen his game start to go. He's starting to decline a little bit. And he's a good football player. So what is it? Is it coaching? Is it scheme? Is it confidence? Is it injuries? I think it might be a combination of all of the things that I just said. But is he a guy that you feel comfortable enough to go into next year as your starting, say one of your starting 2 safeties? Because I think Will Harris is entrenched going into next year as one of them. But is Quan Martin your other guy? Any of you guys have any comments about that?
I mean,
okay, upgrading.
The guy's missed so many tackles, man. He's had so many missed tackles. And I mean, I don't know if that's because he was out of position or, he's had to just put the arm out there and the guys, there's just some really embarrassing moments on that. But
so you guys can see an upgrade for that at that position.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'll say it. It needs to be upgraded. If we think about what Dan said about that arriving with bad intentions and everything, then there's no room for arm tackling. Old school. No, we can't use the helmet like we used to, but that shoulder serves just as good a purpose. And even still, that's what you used was the head on the outside or the inside in your shoulder. So his technique is all off. So yeah, I'd like to see an upgrade.
I'm just gonna say real quick, just with Rev. Rev's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. Really, just a good man. But they always say the God-fearing men are the ones you need to be leery of. And he gives me when Rev talks about the physicality of the game and how you use your helmet and all that, he gives me Jack Tatum vibes.
Loved him. He was one of my favorites.
I already knew
Jack Lambert.
He was one of my favorites. He was one
Jack Lambert.
Oh my goodness. Him, Jack Tatum, and could you see Jack Tatum and Sean?
Oh my God,
Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor to me was the modern day Jack Tatum.
But he was.
And people would say,
exactly
"Oh, Jack Tatum was a dirty player." No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was just a physical, violent player, and that was Sean Taylor.
And that was illegal. That hit on Darryl Stingley was a legal hit. If you look at that hit, that was a straight up legal hit. It was just
executed. That's literally what it was. It was executed, and
the assassin.
That was his name. Yeah, so that was good football, old school football. I'm sorry, I'm starting to show my age there myself. So, I'm there too. I mean, listen, man, we saw good football. Sorry, Bradford. Savage. Because we gonna get you there though. Trust it. You hang with
Yeah.
us,
Yeah,
we'll
it's all
get you
good.
there. We're gonna get you where you need to be. But for what you witnessed last year, that was the norm for us coming up, and it's been so hard to. I was just talking to Janine about that today as we were going for our walk. I was just like, I told her, Brad, my neighbor. I said, man, Brad on cloud nine. Every time I see Brad, he walking on the balls of his feet because his Bears are looking good. And I'm like, he's living the year we had last year,
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Exactly.
and then she was like, it's hard to believe that was a year ago that we were,
Right.
she was calling me at the game. She was
I
calling me
ain't
from
forgot.
home, and I could hear her screaming in the backdrop. And it's like, man, what happened? But we know what happened. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Really,
So,
it is.
so go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I was about to say, I will. The thing about Quan, just going back real quick, I'm okay with him coming back because since Will Harris has been back, I've seen him play better. And
That's
so
because
it's
Will's so
almost like what
smart.
you, yeah,
He
so it's
was
almost
better
like what
last
you
week.
said about Emmanuel Forbes. It's like he might not be the best starter, but he's an adequate starter. And I think we have so many other places that we need to focus on before
Right.
safety
Right.
that I'm okay with keeping Quan because I think he's good enough to satisfy that for the time being.
Right.
Okay.
I,
That was
I
All right.
personally think too, it's got to be the system too, man. Because if you think
mm-hmm.
about it, the way he's playing over there in L.A., you would think, like I
Yeah.
said before, he was a shutdown corner, man. But when he came and he played for us, it was a joke.
It was
So
tragic.
the way I look at it is,
Yeah, it
it
was.
must be the system and the coaching, man. Because
Uh,
you got to be able to develop these young players, man. If you're not developing these young players, then the coaches got to look at themselves at that
yeah,
point, you know.
I think with Forbes, man, I don't think he's that good, but I think he got dealt a raw deal. We all
Yeah.
know the coach. I can't say
Yeah.
his name, but
100%.
but
100% got a raw
you
deal.
draft him and then you throw him out there on a wide receiver that outweigh him by 35 pounds, right?
Yeah.
They got a
Yeah.
rival from their college days,
Kicker outweighed him
and
by
you
35 pounds.
killed his confidence. Killed
Yeah.
his confidence. So
Totally
I think
killed
he
it.
got a raw deal. As
My
far as
man dropped the
Quan,
ball on him. I remember that
Yeah.
yeah,
vividly. He
yeah,
dropped the
it was,
ball on him. Like,
and
come
you
on, man.
killed him.
What you doing?
And as
Good
far
one,
as
Brad.
Quan go, I think Quan, to Savage point, I think he's serviceable, but we have so many other holes to go
Yeah.
get another safety is not really necessary unless you get one that is just blowing your mind out.
For the
Right.
low.
Right.
Right. But right now,
Totally
it's so
agree.
many other holes, and I think it's coaching too, man.
Yeah.
Tackling
Definitely
is
coaching.
taught.
Definitely.
Tackling is taught. Now, tackling is here and
And
here.
creating turnovers is taught too. And I know they
Yeah.
keep telling us. I remember Coach Wick kept saying, we do this, we do these drills. Maybe you need to change the drills you're doing because they're not turning the ball over.
I don't think
Like
we have no ball hawks. Mikey, the only ball hawk we got. That's
bingo.
that's my opinion though.
I
Bingo.
think Amos is
It's
pretty good, but he's hurt.
Oh no.
obviously,
Yeah,
but,
When Amos come back, yeah, he'll be
Trey.
good. Yeah.
But see, it's almost like you forget about Trey because he got hurt.
yeah,
So I
because he's
mean,
hurt.
I think that
you're
pass
right.
rush
You're
plays
right.
a part.
Hey, it's like
They're
this.
100%.
married. That
We
pass.
don't have one.
That's why
That
Forbes
is
is looking so
100%
good
right now,
over there
man.
in LA because their front seven is coming at you.
Oh, yeah, of
Right.
course.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
See,
also,
I'm with
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm with Brad. I'm with Brad Jones on this because, I remember that one interview, when they had an interview with Darryl Green.
Mm-hmm.
Darryl Green is a legend, and Darryl Green, he was one of the best cornerbacks. And Darryl Green himself said that he sees something in Forbes that if he could coach him, that he knows that he's got it in him. And I do agree with Brad Savage that yeah, he's an adequate starter. Maybe not be a great, but he
Right.
had something that had we coached him the right way,
He could
would
be
have
giving them
been with
something right
us.
now. Absolutely.
He would have been with us where he is in LA.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you could have had something in him that you just didn't tap into it, and that's what I'm afraid is we're talking about Ben Sinnott all night. That's the same thing. I don't know why I can envision Ben going somewhere else and being what
Mhm.
Washington thought he could be here.
Oh Lord.
You can't
In a
have
beast.
that. Yeah, you cannot have that. You have to make sure you tap into it here, exhaust every possibility before you let someone go, or you just don't use them properly, because that's not what the Eagles do. That's not what the good teams do. They find gems, and all of a sudden you're like, where the hell this guy come from?
Yeah,
That,
It's developing. They
but to
develop
my
these
point,
players.
a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
the Eagles know what they want and who they are. They go get a guy who fits them, right?
Mhm.
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 Let's find out who we are. And then if Ben ain't who we are, then let's move on. But at least let's establish our identity and who we're going to be.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't.
no,
Well,
but
the problem with that is I just don't know if, and I hate to say this again, because I think Cliff does some things well, but Cliff's offenses are identityless. I mean, they're
Yeah.
just,
yeah,
Mhm.
you don't know what is the identity. Are we? I mean, we know that he likes to pass, but I'm just saying, even if you're going to pass the football, how are you going to pass it? Are you going to take shots down the
Yeah.
field? Not enough. I don't see that. So
Right.
I'm just like,
You
I'm
don't have no
confused.
speed.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
confused as to what, even when things were clicking last year with Jaden making everything look better than what probably was, I still didn't know what the identity was.
Mhm.
And now this year, what's the identity of the defense? I think the identity would have been, if they didn't have some of these injuries to their linemen, be a much more physical defense that may not have great edge rushers, but they would be adequate enough, to put some pressure, but more importantly, establish an edge, and you wouldn't run the football on them. We saw the breakdown of that, but now that these guys are one more year older, veterans, you really do, and I agree with Brad. Next year to me is about 2026 is about establishing an identity on both sides of the ball with your younger players. That's what I
yeah,
want to
but
see.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll make a lot of sense. So
And
real quick,
it's
I was just going to say real quick here, we got about let's go for about 4 more minutes. I want everybody to be able to answer this. Okay, you just try to keep your answers 20 seconds or less. If you are the GM for Washington going into next year, what's the one area that you will attack first? And don't give me multiples, just the one area that for you as a GM, you're attacking first for this Washington team. So let's start. We'll go to order we just finished. So let's go with David. What would you do?
edge rusher.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right. So let's keep it rolling. Willis, what you think?
Well, I'm going to be co-sponsor that one. I mean, I'd have to just say edge rusher, like, because to me, I think everything is made or broken
Okay.
if you don't have a good edge rusher. I mean, we've got to get somebody dynamic in there.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. Rev.
edge rusher.
Okay. That's 3 for 3. Okay. All right. Brandon.
Edge rusher,
All right.
100%.
4 for 4. Okay. I can't wait for this one coming up. Brad Jones, what you got?
Defense. Pick a position.
The one
Yeah.
position.
Pick a
Seriously.
position. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair, man. Okay. So we're going to keep it on the defensive side. All right, Kevin.
Yeah, same thing. Edge. We've been hurting for the longest, man, for edge rusher for sure.
Okay. All right. Brad Savage.
No, edge rusher.
All right. So, I mean, we keeping this thing rolling. All right. And then Shawno.
I know it's a punter, that's for sure. Since, since everyone's saying edge, I'm going to go with corner. Another lockdown would be nice.
Okay. But you do realize you could get a lockdown corner, but if there's no pass rush, that lockdown corner not locking down anybody.
Absolutely. That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm going edge rusher. I've been saying it for a while. It's been Mike Barrett, he left us, but I've been saying it's been almost malpractice for them to not really attack that. And this year they'll be picking high enough that one of these guys can be there. I don't know if the kid Bain from Ohio State will be there. But the more I think about it, I'd like an edge rusher, but I don't want to just grab anyone just to say you did it. So for me, I'm gonna go with Brad Jones on this one and say, just get me a hell of a defensive football player. And matter of fact, my first couple picks. Even if I can trade back in the second
All
round, I'm still
defense.
going to use it on all defense,
Yeah.
all defense,
Yeah.
all
Oh yeah,
defense.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to do
And
that.
Absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
with my last pick, I'm selecting the kicker. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to select the kicker, groom one, and just ride them out. You miss some kicks, fine. We're going to ride it out, but no more, $3 million guaranteed contracts for kickers that
No.
just aren't getting it done. So
We need one of
yeah.
these 60-yard
Yes, sir.
kickers like Aubrey. We need somebody like that.
He's struggling right now. He
Oh,
missed
Had a
a
bad
couple.
game, but he bounced back. That boy,
Yeah, right. He gonna kick him. He gonna kick him from the other side of the field against
I
us. So
hate
yeah, we'll
Aubrey.
see.
Right.
I
He gonna
hate
kicking
he's
him
so
from the
good because he a
tunnel.
cowboy.
So do we
From
get
the tunnel.
a new DC, or is DQ gonna go ahead and continue to call?
Well, I think Whit'll be back in the role. I don't think he's going to be calling the plays, but I think it's going to be similar. But I still keep saying, if you can get Al Harris from Chicago, I think Al Harris would be a great defensive coordinator for Washington, and
Yeah.
all of those guys have worked well together. I think it would make
Yeah,
sense.
but I think Witt's worked with Al Harris too. Yep, and
Absolutely. So it would make that's the call that I'm making. That I think Al Harris will be in play big time here. So we'll see how that goes. With Cliff might be back here, but I think what happens is it's going to be very similar. It's going to be kind of what you saw with Dan Campbell doing with Morton in Detroit. Like, you're still the coordinator, but I'm going to call these games based on what I think needs to be done. And that's what I think that's the most important thing over anything, is having Dan now step more out of that CEO role and just be that guy, because
So
he's
you
such.
saying
Mhm.
Dan will call the offensive plays?
No.
No,
I'm just saying I think he's going to have more input on it. Like, hey, we need to run X amount of times this game, and if it's not done, something going to be done to you. I mean, he's gotta take over. He's the coach, and I think he's empowered his guys to call their games, but I think we all agree that the thing with Witt was failing, and it probably took weeks, too many weeks before that should have been done, where he took over.
Yeah.
And you're seeing a lot of this in the NFL, where coaches are saying, no, these are still my coordinators, but now I'm gonna put my stamp on it, and I'm okay with that if you're the head coach, because you're the head coach. That's your job.
I say
We
Kingsbury
need
going
to
to the
make sure.
Giants. Kingsbury be the Giants' new head coach, and our OC will be Mike McDaniels. You heard it here first.
See, I don't think Mike McDaniels is getting fired.
I don't think now that they benched Tua.
The Dolphins aren't firing him because they need him to develop Ewers.
Is the
Yep,
is the he the scapegoat.
Yeah.
I just want to see one that'll probably bring a book that's more than 2 pages in that book. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'll be honest with you. That's how I feel. Like, there's only 2 pages in that book, because I don't see any other plays. I don't see
the
trick
thing.
plays. I don't.
But I don't care if you run 4 plays. New England running 4 plays on offense,
Right.
but they running variations of those 4. My thing is, even if you scale it down and it's vanilla, if vanilla's working, then we're gonna have vanilla ice cream every game. I mean,
that's a problem. Not even vanilla's working for us.
Our quarterback is too dynamic. You need a dynamic playmaker like Ben Johnson, dynamic with that.
Yes, sir.
With that young quarterback, we need Sean McVay, dynamic. We need a dynamic. But then again, that's gonna go with our identity. What are we gonna do? Do we want to be a high-powered offense? Do we want to be defense?
I'm gonna throw a name at y'all, and then we're gonna get off after this. I'm gonna let this marinate on y'all until we get back next week. Zach Taylor. I'm not gonna say nothing else. Okay,
Cincinnati.
Y'all just think about that.
I gotta have to. That's just me.
Really?
That's just me. I think JD and Cliff work well together. I think
y'all do know what
get
tree
up at 5 a.m. and I just think injuries killed our season, so we don't look at Cliff the same way. But I think Cliff can still put points on the board given a healthy roster. That's just my opinion.
I'm just saying, if they move on from Cliff, or Cliff takes a head coaching job somewhere, just remember, because I think Zach Taylor might be out in Cincinnati, and I can tell you guys right now, Zach Taylor's a really good offensive mind. he's not a coach. So
Yeah.
some guys are just coordinators, and y'all know the tree that Zach came from, right?
Cool.
Y'all, I mean, he's from the Shanahan tree. He's
Yeah.
part of all of them. He was with Sean for a while, so in LA. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can get that Shanahan offense for Jayden, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So again,
Lake,
yes,
real quick. Now that you touched that point, this is just a question out of Washington. What do you think about Burrow? You think he'll be back with them or no?
of course, of
they
course,
can't.
they're not
Yeah.
getting rid
You
of
think so?
they burned Cincinnati
Even
down
with
in the
his
middle
little
of the night.
messages.
Nah, that's him just saying we got to do better here. But you know what?
Yeah.
They will burn Cincinnati down in the middle of the night if they got rid of Joe Burrow. And I do mean that. They literally would burn it down because that's all you have. That's a small market, and you have one of the best players in football. You can't afford to get rid of him. And then if you got rid of him,
Jamar going right with him.
Jamar and
Yep.
all of them, and all of them, like, sign me up, I'm out.
Burrow is the only player the Bengals be listening to. They've let everybody else walk and been like, you can go, we're going to be cheap. But when it came to Burrow, they've succumbed to everything he's been asking for.
100%. There's not a chance under God's green earth that Joe Burrow will not finish his career in Cincinnati. That would be, I mean, if you're the Browns, now I don't mean Cleveland, I mean the owners of the Bengals, you wouldn't be able to come out in public in Cincinnati.
Howie, Howie went to anything like that. He'd be on the phone.
Bro, and I would be don't do that, Kevin. I mean, can you imagine Joe Burrow in Philadelphia? Might as well just, man, it's not fair. This wouldn't even be fair.
This is a good time to end this.
Like, you just ruining everybody. All right, man.
That's worse than a Freddy Krueger name.